Following the overthrow of Chief Ernest Shonekan, General Oladipo Diya was appointed as General Abacha's second-in-command. Not long after his elevation, General Oladipo Diya found himself in an untenable position. He would soon find himself embroiled in crisis of interest between the Commander-in-Chief and his people over the June 12 mandate. In this video, we will explain why General Oladipo Diya landed in trouble with Gen Sani Abacha in 1997 and was ultimately sentenced to death for plotting to violently remove General Abacha from office. Without much ado, let's get started. Welcome to Hisple Media In-Depth History. On the 17th of November 1993, Gen Sani Abacha and his clique of military officers pushed Shonekan aside, dissolved the interim national government, and set up a provisional ruling council. After the coup, General Diya was elevated to the position of Chief of General Staff, which was the second-in-command to the Commander-in-Chief. His loyalty to Abacha may have tainted his dignity, as two major colleagues, Lieutenant General Aliyu Gusau and Major General Hisple Williams, sent him foreboding messages. General Gusau told a mutual friend, "Tell your brother Diya that he will leave the army in disgrace," while Major General Hisple Williams predicted that Diya was not going to last long in the army. General Oladipo Diya, born in Ogun State in Nigeria's southwest region, was the most senior southerner in Abacha's cabinet and would soon be embroiled in the conflict of interest between his Yoruba ethnic group and Gen Sani Abacha, a northerner. 6 months after Abacha's ascension, there had been no announcement regarding the annulled June 12 elections. This prompted Abiola's closest ally, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to meet with Diya and gave him an ultimatum to act. Tinubu is said to have informed Diya, "If you are not in this government to actualize June 12, then you have betrayed us." Don't forget to book the like button and subscribe to our channel. When Gen Sani Abacha called for a constitutional conference in April 1994, Yoruba leaders now had the opportunity to meet with top military officials from the southwestern region. During the meeting, the Alake of Igba land, Oyebade Lepidi, admonished Diya, saying, "You are our son. We have seen your northern neighbors revere their emirs. Do you not have any respect for us?" This was in response to Diya's apparent support for Gen Sani Abacha against Abiola's June 12 mandate. Diya persuaded some of the kings that the June 12 election would be addressed at the Constitutional Conference. But after Abiola's arrest on June 23, 1994, things began to take a dangerous turn. Justice Abdullahi Mustafa was flown from Benin to Abuja to hear Abiola's bail appeal in order to get him out of detention and out of Nigeria. Even though the judge did not seize Abiola's passport, he was granted conditional bail with the instructions not to travel abroad. This arrangement was made by the Nigerian Labour Congress, which was partially funded by Lamidi Adedibu, a prominent southwest politician, and was overseen by Oladipo Diya. When the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Kumasi, who was supposed to release Abiola, went missing, Diya should have been suspicious that this would backfire. Also, the Federal Capital Territory Police Commissioner refused to release Abiola without express orders from Ibrahim Kumasi. Abiola also made the release difficult as he insisted on not leaving the prison without actualizing his mandate. Analysts believe that he would have accepted the offer, or Diya shouldn't have taken the risk on his behalf. Abiola was obstinate. After the bail incident, Abacha began to question Diya's loyalty to him. Things would become glaring when Abacha discovered the attempt to release Abiola and immediately converted Abiola's detention order to be under Decree No. 2, which allowed the military government to arrest and detain anyone without trial. Diya was in charge of signing the warrant and he refused to do so. An amendment to the decree was made, allowing the Inspector General of Police to sign the warrant, and Ibrahim Kumasi was on hand to do so. Abacha became agitated and expanded his security precautions. He fired his Chief of Army Staff, Chris Ali, and Chief of Naval Staff, Alison Madueke, effectively removing all known northerners from the Provisional Ruling Council except for Diya. Diya was a bigger fish to fry and required more calculated effort to do so. By 1997, Abacha had removed all top military officers who had come into power with him except Oladipo Diya. Even though he was still in government, Diya said after the Abiola saga, he lost out and became less and less consulted on government issues. He now belonged to a government that no longer considered him relevant. Abacha became more security conscious than ever, establishing various divisions to protect him and eliminate his perceived enemies. Regardless of the fact that Abacha barely left the presidential villa, he never delegated any duties to Diya whenever he had cause to leave. Mr. Tom Ekimi, Abacha's foreign affairs minister, represented him outside of Nigeria, while Miriam, his wife, and General Abubakar represented him within the country. In August 1997, senior officers including General Oladipo Diya, Major General Ishaya Bamiyi, Major General Patrick Aziza, and Air Vice Marshal Idi Musa began to discuss a list of 4 demands allegedly drafted and sent to their superiors for onward transmission to Abacha. The letter with a list of demands was said to have emanated from anonymous junior military officers. The letter was alleged to have demanded that Abacha should abandon his plans for self-succession, hand over in October 1998, release the draft of the 1995 Constitution, and release political prisoners. Despite his dissatisfaction with Abacha's government, Diya did not initiate the coup. He continued to accuse Ishaya Bamiyi of initiating the plot. Bamiyi also informed Diya that all GOCs supported the plot with the exception of Major General Mukhtar of the 1st Mechanized Infantry Division in Kaduna, who was not in the country at the time. The plotters started meeting in Diya's house in Abuja, and during one of such meetings, Diya noticed that Bamiyi's chest was bulging out. Diya also trusted and involved Major General Abdul Karim Adisa and Tajuddin Olariwaju, both Yoruba Muslims, in the plot. They were both loyal to Abacha and were hesitant to join the coup, but were told that Adisa's friend, Brigadier General Ibrahim Sabo, the Director of Military Intelligence, was on board. They would all find out later that the bulge in Bamiyi's chest was a recording device. The whole incident was a setup. Diya had allegedly narrowly escaped being a victim of bomb explosion at Abuja Airport on December 13, a week before his arrest. He was traveling to Benue State for the funeral of Major General Lawrence Onoja's mother. It became clear that the coup was a backup plan if the attempt to bomb Diya had failed. The plan was for the plotters to meet with Abacha and present him with the 4 demands. I suggested to Bamiyi that he and the GOCs should confront Abacha with the demands of the junior officers and ask him to address them or face being removed, Diya said. Bamiyi and the general officer commandings both agreed that it was not a bad idea. Despite the lack of specific details, a letter had been written either at Diya's or Olaruwaju's house and was to be read by either Magashi or Bamiyi. Diya told the group, "When the old man goes, you boys should not forget to maintain the hierarchy." Since Diya was the second in command to General Abacha, maintaining the hierarchy meant he should be considered as Abacha's replacement. On the night of December 20th, Major Al-Mustafa, the head of Abacha's strike force, a special operation unit tasked with protecting Abacha, phoned Diya's intercom. Diya had not anticipated that call. Al-Mustafa should have been silenced. Diya's SSS agent, Isaiah Adebowale, advised him to leave his house, and they drove to Isaiah's house using his car. Al-Mustafa quickly went to Diya's house and discovered his absence. Before this time, the special bodyguards, described as members of a carefully selected private army of 3,000 men trained in Libya and North Korea, had gradually replaced Diya's guards. The special bodyguard is known for its quiet efficiency and brutality, and they are personally loyal to the president, taking orders from the presidential security chief, Major Hamza al-Mustafa. The guards informed Al-Mustafa of who Diya had left with, and they quickly entered Isaiah's premises, shooting their way in before arresting Diya, who was hiding under a mattress. All of the other conspirators were apprehended and taken to the presidential villa. On the 3rd of January 1998, a new special investigation panel was established to investigate the coup. Major General Chris Abutu Garba, an Idoma officer from Nigeria's Middle Belt, led the Special Investigation Panel. The Special Investigation Panel worked from Jos and apprehended approximately 60 suspects. Before the coup plotters were brought to court, Abacha invited over 1,000 traditional rulers to a special event in Abuja. They were showed carefully edited videos of the accused confessing to their crimes and pleading for mercy in front of Abacha, Hamza, and other soldiers. With this effort, Abacha was buying public opinion. It appears, however, that his effort was paying off when Oba Rufus Adejugbe, the Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, said, "From what we have heard from the audio records and images of the preliminary investigations, we wish to condemn the dastardly act conceived and attempted by the plotters already arrested." Then, according to Oba Oyekan of Lagos, the dastardly act by unpatriotic, devil-inspired and mischievous elements is condemned in all its ramifications by the peace-loving people of Lagos. On the 14th of February 1998, the trial of about 30 suspected coup plotters began, with Major General Victor Malo of Benue State presiding over the trial. The defendants were given a list of lawyers to represent them, but all of them were military personnel. They were not allowed to hire civilian lawyers. On the first day of proceeding, journalists were allowed into the premises, and everyone was shocked when Diya confessed that this is a clear case of setup. "I am the target, and it was organized from the top. I am surprised that the Chief of Army Staff, who is the mastermind, chief planner, and executioner of this incident, is not here." As it became clear that Abacha was attempting to remove all Southerners from the Provisional Ruling Council, public opinion turned against him. If Diya had truly planned a coup, he could not have carried it out because neither he nor any of the Southerners involved in the coup had control of the troops with which they would use to take over the government. It is, however, strange that while plotting a coup against Abacha, Diya decided to inform the Director of Military Intelligence, whose job it is to foil coup plot, and another officer, Patrick Aziza, who was known to be loyal to Abacha, who had only 2 years earlier presided over a trial in which over 40 people, including the former head of states, were convicted of plotting a coup. It became very shocking to Diya and everyone else in the tribunal when Malu called a special witness to testify against the plotters. The witness was Major General Ishaya Bamiyi. According to Bamiyi, Diya started planning to overthrow Abacha during one of his visits to Lagos Garrison Command in September 1997, where they also planned to recruit artillery officers for the coup. Bamiyi testified that he went to report the issue to Abacha, who told him to play along with Diya. They had 4 different plans to assassinate Abacha, all of which failed because Abacha was not present at the scheduled locations. They then planned to storm the presidential villa on December 28, 1997. A betrayed Diya told Bamiyi, "You wear 3 faces, one for Abacha, one for me, and one for yourself." Despite this, Diya insisted that he had been co-opted into the plot and had not initiated it. In the video of Diya and Abacha's conversation, Diya expressed concern that if he refused to join the plotters, he would be killed. Some military intelligence officers such as Frank Omenka and Sabo suspected a coup within a coup. According to our analysis, Diya agreed to participate after receiving assurances from Bamiyi that the plot was supported by a majority of general officer commanders and senior army commanders. When Bamiyi realized his plan would be exposed or fail, he decided to save himself by sacrificing Diya and reporting to Abacha. They noted that conveniently there was no audio tape of Bamiyi's first conversation with Diya about the plot. This theory was passed on to Abacha, who also questioned Bamiyi's sincerity. At the conclusion of the 2-month-old trial, the military tribunal sentenced 6 people to death, including Lieutenant General Oladipo Diya, Major General Tajuddin Olariwaju, Major General Abdul Karim Adisa, and a civilian. 5 of the 20 other accused were reportedly sentenced to prison terms ranging from 2 to 14 years, while 15 others were released. But Diya and Abiola were not Abacha's only former allies who suffered as a result of his misrule. Watch this video displayed here as we declassified high-level military documents showing how Gen Sani Abacha approved the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa in 1995. Don't forget to boop the like button on this video and subscribe to Hisple Media, and I'll see you in that video. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.